Hello and welcome to another quick review. This is a segment of James in the Frames where I give you guys a recommendation about a movie or film and talk about it spoiler-free in a relatively short time. Tonight's film is The Master. This film is directed by Paul Thomas Anderson and stars Joaquin Phoenix, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Amy Adams. The story revolves around Freddie, a World War II veteran who's finding it very difficult to live in a post-war society. One day he stumbles upon a yacht and meets Lancaster Dodd, a man who's the pioneer of a religious movement known as the Cause. The unlikely relationship between these two men will lead to some important moments in each of their lives. Out of all of Paul Thomas Anderson's films, this one I feel will be the least accessible for general audiences. There is a lot to unpack when it comes to the philosophies and the messages this film is trying to convey to us. It's definitely a film that requires a couple watches, and for many that will seem like a daunting task. It is, after all, a 2.5-hour film, and most people don't have time or don't really care about wanting to understand a film such as this one. I, however, humbly admit that I've seen this film only once, and after this quick review, I will find the time to watch it again because it's probably one of the most influential films of the 2010s. The performances are absolutely magnificent. Joaquin Phoenix gives a performance that is one of my favorites of his. He always manages to melt into another character, and it's just mesmerizing to watch, especially when you compare his performance here with his performance in Her. However, as much as I enjoy Joaquin Phoenix's performance, I do have to address the performance that is in many ways an absolute contrast to it, but similar in some aspects. The late, great, brilliant Philip Seymour Hoffman is just marvelous in this film. He gives, as I said, a calm performance that sometimes has great outbursts of anger, in contrast to Phoenix's performance, which gives great outbursts of anger with some calm moments. And it's also a coincidence that today, Philip Seymour Hoffman would have been 53 years old. He really was one of the most talented and passionate performers of the generation. He breathed life into each and every role he played, and he was just a wonderful human being. And actually, before this review, I watched an interview with him promoting The Master, and he talks a bit about the film and what his thoughts are on it. And it's a really great interview. And he really was taken from us too soon. But man, did he leave a masterful filmography behind. And I really miss him. Besides the performances, on a technical aspect, the film is gorgeous. It was shot in 65mm, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks amazing. I'd give anything to watch this film in a theater in 70mm projection. And yes, I said 70mm because even though the film was shot in 65mm, the extra 5mm are added to the projection prints to help fit or accommodate the audio tracks. So that's why I said I wanted to watch it in 70 instead of 65. It's really well shot. The framing is immaculate and the color palette is beautiful. The score is great as well, even though I don't remember too much of it. I will revisit The Master after this quick review, after I've seen it for a second time. But taking all that into consideration, The Master is a beautifully crafted film that rewards you with multiple watches, and I'm going to give it a watch myself soon enough. I am working on some cool stuff to show to you guys, and a quick heads up, I was invited to be a guest on the Viewers Club podcast. You guys know Lucas and Megan, who have come on before. Well, now I'm going on their podcast this time, so go check out their social media pages. It's at the Viewers Club, and their YouTube channel. We'll be chatting about the horror series The Haunting of Hill House, directed and produced by Mike Flanagan, who you may all know as the director of Hush, a film I talked about in another of my quick reviews. That film is on Netflix, as well as The Haunting of Hill House, so look forward to that coming soon. Thank you all again so much for listening. This has been another quick review from James in the Frames, and I will see you after the credits.